Hey planner friends! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planning from the 2nd to the 8th of January in my medium passion planner. Let's get started! So the kit that I'm using for the first full week in my 2023 planner is Cosy Winter from Plannerface. I do still PR for Plannerface, so you can use my code in the description to save yourselves a little bit of money and also mention me in the notes to seller for my brand new freebie. This is going to be a pretty quick video today. It's a pretty standard week that I was setting up as it was my first week back at work after the Christmas break. And it's also the first week where I haven't had any extra stickers or different foils and stuff to add into the spread, so it was a pretty speedy setup. As always, I've started with the pen base in my spread, so I shaded in the parts of the timelines where I'm going to be asleep, and then I went in with my Grace Stabilo fine liner to mark in my alarm times and split my personal and work to do sections in half to give myself a checklist space for each day of the week. I then completely forgot to add in my work hours because I haven't had to do that for 2 spreads, but I will add them in a minute, so now I'm adding in all of my meals for the week, so breakfast, lunch and dinner for each day with my Pilot friction pen. As usual, I don't add in breakfast on days where I don't have an alarm set in case I sleep in. I'm now adding in my work hours with the fine liner side of one of my passion highlighters, so this is Sky from the Essentials pack and is my theme colour for January. I'm then going to use the same fine liner to write in my days of the week on all of my checklist spaces, so I changed this up a couple months ago and now I have a checklist space for each day of the week rather than one massive long checklist. I'm then going to switch over to the chisel tip side of my passion highlighter to highlight over all of those check boxes in the bottom left hand corner and also colour in the daily focus boxes of days where I'm not going to be at work and highlight over all of those meals that I've already added in. This sky blue colour is one of the new passion highlighters that's the same colour as the old passion markers, and that was really handy because my passion marker in this colour has totally dried up. So that is pretty much it for my pen base. Now we can get stuck into some stickers, and as always I'm starting with my meal plan tracker, which is just something that I made in Excel and print off onto sticker paper myself. I'm then adding in this squared off half box from the kit into the weekly focus box with this 2023 Stick with the Planco Girl, and this is all of those stickers that are now used up, so I don't have to worry about when I'm going to use them. I'm then finishing off my sidebar with a habit tracker for my daily check-in and a full box from the kit. As I mentioned in my last weekly plan with me, the sizing on the sidebar is a little bit different in this planner than it was in my 2022 planner, so I did have to trim a tiny extra bit off the top of this full box to make sure it fitted between my habit tracker and my meal plan. Next I can add in my washi headers, so I've cut one of the 15mm strips from the kit in half to cover my Space of Infinite Possibility header and my personal and work to-do list header, and then I've cut a 6mm chunk from the second piece of washi to create my extra gratitude header in the bottom left hand corner. Next I'm adding in my weekend banner, and then I'm doing what I did last week and adding in all of my decorative boxes before I add in my plans for the week. As always, I've trimmed these decorative boxes down vertically on the sticker paper, and then I'm just trimming them horizontally on my planner so they fit nicely within the timelines. I'm not entirely sure why I decided to change it up, but I'm quite happy that I did. I think maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of other people that plan in like standard vertical planners, and they always put the decorative boxes in as part of their base, so I thought I would do the same. If you saw my planning process video, you would know that I already know where these boxes are going to go before I start laying down my spread, so it's not like I was waiting until I'd added in all of my plans and would then go back in and fill in the boxes. I'm pretty sure the reason I started doing these at the end of my setup was mostly because I thought of them at the end of a setup once and was like, oh, I could add in loads more decorative boxes from the kit if I just did this now. Once I've got that last box in on Friday, we can then zoom in and go into my plans for the week. So zooming in and starting on Monday, this was a bank holiday, so I'm marking that using a fancy label with some deco from the kit and a bank holiday script from Plannerface. My main plan for the last day of annual leave for the Christmas break was to film my 2022 flip through, so I'm using a quarter box with a film script from Plannerface and the book doodle from the kit to mark that in. I didn't really have anything else to do on Monday apart from get ready for the fact I was back in work the next day, so now we can move on to Tuesday where I'm using a glitter header and a work from home script from Plannerface in the daily focus box to mark in that I was working from home. I can then add in my first weight session of the year using a Pinky Stickers printable, and originally I used all my leg day, pull day and push day scripts from Plannerface to mark in these days, but the way that my program is working at the moment I don't really have a leg push and pull split anymore, so I did take these out and actually put in what I did instead. I've then grabbed a piece from the Monday to Sunday box that I've cut up to use as washi with the YouTube button icon from Ickle & Co and an upload script in Plannerface to mark in my flip through of last year's planner. Moving on to Wednesday, this one is a complete guess because I didn't actually know the rota when I set up this spread, but I figured that I was possibly going to be duty scientist on Wednesday, so I'm using an event label and a Joy of Planning scientist girl to mark that in, but I was actually duty scientist on Friday instead. So these stickers have moved, but they're not going to waste. For Wednesday afternoon, I had my usual Wednesday afternoon seminar, so I'm using a quarter box from the kit with the laptop doodle to mark that in. I've also been adding in some glitter headers from the kit that I've cut in half, just to take up a bit of space around what will become my checklists for the top 2 or 3 things I get done at work each day. To finish off Wednesday, I'm just adding in another Pinky Stickers printable for doing yoga in the evening, and then we can flip over to the second half of the week, where I'm using a glitter header and a work from home script in Plannerface to again mark in that I was working from home on Thursday. For Thursday evening, I'm marking in my second weight session of the week, this time with a pull day script from Plannerface, and then I'm adding in a bin doodle from Plannerface to mark in a reminder to take the bins out. I can then move on to Friday, where I'm using a third box from the kit with some deco to mark in a meeting that we had at work on Friday morning. On Friday after work, I wanted to do a little bit of cardio, so I'm using another Pinky Stickers printable to mark that in, and then we can move on to Saturday, where I'm first using a half box from the kit with the Joy of Planning Weightlifting Girl to mark in team training. I'm also using a glitter header before that half box to mark in the little bit of extra time it takes me to drive there. And looking at the weather while I'm recording this voiceover, I don't think it's going to be a particularly nice drive. Before team training, I'm using a fancy label with an edit script from Plannerface and a bit of deco from the kit to mark in editing and recording this voiceover. And I mentioned this in previous videos, but changing up my Saturday morning planning time so that I record my voiceover first has actually made so much difference in me actually getting it done. Once I come back from team training, I'm going to be doing my setup for next week, so I'm using a flag with the planner doodle from the kit and a planning script from Plannerface to mark that in. And then next I'm using a half box from the kit with some deco to mark in whatever we get up to on Saturday evening, which I think is pretty much just going to be sitting downstairs, watching some TV, having some drinks and just cuddling up with Reggie if he'll allow it. Moving on to Sunday, I'm first using one of the 3 hut checklist boxes from the kit with the vacuum doodle to mark out a chunk of time for doing some cleaning on Sunday morning. I have still been trying to spread my cleaning out across the week rather than trying to do it all on Sunday morning, but this is kind of like a catch-all time now for anything that I missed during the week. I'm then adding in an event label with the grocery doodle from the kit to mark in my click and collect order being available, and then I'm using another piece of the Monday to Sunday box that I've cut up with another YouTube button icon from Ickle & Co and an upload script from Plannerface to mark in uploading this video. I can then add in my final weight session for the week and we can go back in and fill in all of my plans as usual using my Pilot Friction pen. So this week started off pretty good. I had a really good bank holiday Monday and I was really happy with my planner flip through and how much stuff I got done. And also going back to work wasn't the worst this week, I think, especially because I had that work from home day to kind of ease myself back into it rather than straight away being like, this is your first commute in 3 weeks and you've got to drive in the horrible weather. I've also been doing a bit more yoga this week because I started doing the Yoga with Adriene 30-day journey for this year, although because of my schedule I'm only doing it on days where I don't have weight training. But really the main thing that happened this week was that on Thursday evening, Reggie started seeming really unhappy again, so I came home from work early on Friday so that we could take him to an emergency vet appointment. He'd been making progress since he started feeling ill again before Christmas, but he'd kind of plateaued in the progress that he was making, and we were still only doing like really short walks, and he just seemed kind of uncomfortable a lot of the time. So we got him into the vet. So the only reason it was an emergency appointment was because they didn't have any regular appointments left for Friday afternoon. But we got him in, he saw the vet, and she was basically like, this has been going on for a couple months now, so it probably is chronic pancreatitis rather than an acute pancreatitis like we were thinking when he was in hospital. Apparently he's around the age where chronic pancreatitis usually shows up if it's like a genetic thing or like a predisposition thing, but she's actually really happy with the progress that he's made so far. Like, we've really improved his diet and he has started losing a little bit of weight, which should help it from not flaring up again. But I was thinking, and also someone mentioned this to me in an Instagram DM, that like if he was going to have this problem anyway, like he was naturally predisposed to having this issue, then I'm really glad that he's having it when he's at home with us rather than when he was in the shelter or when he was astray. So yeah, not the ideal start to 2023 for Reggie, but he's being such a little trooper and is doing so well with all of the vet visits and having to go in the car so much. For my weekly focus, I just put let's get started with 2023. I didn't really know what else to put, but that is everything for my pre-planning. Let's take a look at the finished spread. So here's the spread all filled out, and I really love the colour palette of this kit. It's so cold and wintry and exactly what I needed for this week, even though the weather has been a bit mild and rainy for January. I'm really happy with how this spread has turned out, and I am getting used to the slight sizing changes in my passion planner for this year. Just before we finish the video, let's have a quick check-in with my brave little boy. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!